So, Shang-Chi is the newest installment in the ever-growing MCU, and I enjoyed it. The action was probably some of the best ever in the MCU. I really enjoyed the Russo's movies, and I think they handle action very well in The Winter Soldier and Civil War, but I can't lie and say that they don't occasionally rely on quick cuts and shaky cam to get the job done. But Shang-Chi doesn't do that. It has a lot of wide shots that show the full picture, tracking shots that linger on the character, and some pretty stellar and unique choreography. Also, Tony Leung has probably some of the best depth to an MCU villain. There's a lot of complexity to his character, and you get a really great sense as to why he ended up becoming the man he is today. And I know this is a hot take, but I think every Phase 4 villain so far has not worked up until this point. There's also this really cool opening sequence where he meets his wife for the first time, and it's shot in a really vibrant and colorful setting, with a fight scene that plays more like a romantic dance rather than anything else. A lot of the technical aspects are amazing too. Bill Pope, who DP'd Spider-Man 2, also does a phenomenal job here, as each sequence in the movie just feels so full of life, and it makes the movie really stand out from all the other Marvel movies. I also like that Shang-Chi and Katie didn't have to be romantic interests with each other. I feel like that's something that's not normalized at all in popular media, where two people of the opposite gender can just be best friends, and I like that Awkwafina's character was more than just a female love interest. But forewarning, Awkwafina does do her usual comedy shtick here, for better or worse. So if you don't like her comedy in other movies, this movie definitely won't sway you. With that being said, I do unfortunately have a few more negatives with this movie. Boo! Yeah, I know, I want to love it like everyone else too, but I just didn't. First off, I wish the story focused more on the character work, especially in the first act. I don't know why, but the movie feels like it's in an extreme rush to get the plot moving, and take something like Far From Home for example. That movie has barely any setup for the characters, and it's pretty clear that it just wants to get the kids to Europe as fast as possible. I feel like that works there because it's a sequel. We already know all these characters, so we don't need to linger on them longer. But Shang-Chi is introducing a new setting with new characters, and I wish it wasn't in such a hurry to get the plot moving so quickly, because I didn't really connect with most of the characters if I'm being honest. The third act was pretty much where I had another major issue with. There's just a lot of CGI chaos going on, and I think an origin story with a character who knows martial arts should have been more grounded. I just wasn't really vibing with the movie when there were literal dragons fighting each other in the sky, but the thing is, that's going to appeal to a lot of people, cause that's undoubtedly really cool. I just didn't really think it fit the tone of the movie too well. Lastly, there is a bit too much exposition in this film. There were so many instances where characters are just talking about their backstories, or explaining what some artifact does, or whatever. It's pretty relentless throughout the entire movie, and I think it was a little bit lazy. Now, I know it sounds like I'm being really negative right now, but like I said, the movie's pretty solid. I think Simu Liu has a great on-screen presence, his character bounces off everyone very well in the movie, and there's also some really cool directing choices that I think were pretty bold in the film. And real quick, I am gonna get into some brief spoilers. So, quick gripe, I am kinda mixed on bringing Trevor back in this movie. I mean, Ben Kingsley ate up all the scenes he was in, and I was cracking up every time he was on screen, but I can't say that he was at all necessary in the movie. It just felt like Kevin Feige really wanted to tie up that loose end from that one short film they did like 7 years ago, and he really didn't need to be here. Next, I know I already mentioned that the exposition was a problem for me, but the scene where Shang-Chi confesses to Katie that he ended up killing his mother's killer just did not work for me. The scene already started with a visual flashback, but it for some reason chooses to cut away from it and just have Shang-Chi explain to us that he killed a man. I just think it would have been way more powerful for us to follow his teenage character, because then we'd all expect him to run away and not go through with it. And so when the time comes when he kills his mother's killer, it'd be way more shocking since we were told earlier that he didn't do it. Lastly, there really is too much going on in that third act. Awkwafina's character Katie already mastered archery in like less than a day and is saving people. There's a giant demon dragon taking people's souls and killing people, and overall it detracts too much from the emotional moments in the film. For instance, when Wenwu dies, we just kind of move on instantly from his death, and we go back to the dragons fighting. Like, this is a really crucial moment in the film where their highly imperfect father finally decides to be selfless and put his family first. And I would have preferred to have sat on that much longer instead of just cutting away back to the battle, and I feel like it really ruined the emotional impact. The same goes for when Shang-Chi's mother is killed. It just feels weird that we completely cut away when the mother starts fighting. I think we at least should have seen some of the fight in a reflection or a shadow or something instead of completely cutting away and then showing her undamaged corpse. And I know I said the action is absolutely spectacular, and it is, but the instance where I just felt weird watching was the bus scene. The reason it felt so off to me was because we hadn't really spent all that much time with our characters yet. All we knew about them at that point was that they're valets who don't really know what to do with their lives, and of course we knew a bit about Shang-Chi's childhood, but again, not much. So for them to be in this jarringly life-threatening situation so early on in the film felt a little emotionally absent. And I could also do without cutting away from the action to randomly insert humor in there.
Yo, what up y'all? It's your boy Clev coming at you live on the bus. I actually did take a little bit of martial arts as a youth, so I'm gonna try and grade this fight as we're going.
So that's it for my spoilers. I think the movie is overall really entertaining. The pace is really fast and there's usually never a dull moment. The action is relentlessly entertaining. The soundtrack for the movie is fire, and I think the movie fits really well in the MCU. In conclusion, I just wish that Marvel would be a little less afraid of diving deeper into the emotional aspects in their film, instead of just feeling the need to cut away from them. I'm gonna give Shang-Chi a 6 out of 10. Not bad, not great, but a lot of people massively love this film, so if you haven't seen it yet, and the movie piqued your interest, I think you should definitely give it a shot. Regardless, the real winner is Simu Liu. My man went from being in stock photos to literally manifesting himself as Shang-Chi. I'm so happy for him. But have you guys seen Shang-Chi? If so, let me know what you thought in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe. With all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.